Aloha! What's up, everyone? Welcome to Omens, episode number 43, where we're going to take a look at some viewer submissions of omens around the world that people have sent my way to my website, JayDreamerZ.com. And then we're going to jump into some headlines and talk about strange things happening in the world across. Let's get things started off with viewer submissions. And just to let you know, I've been working on my audio, trying to do some troubleshooting. So hopefully I sound a little louder, but hopefully everything's okay. But if there's any audio issues, just keep in mind I'll continuously fix those up as as the channel progresses and we go forward. All right, let's get these viewer submissions pulled up here. Is it this one? There we go. All right, cool. So now this first one comes from Dean Roper. Dean took a picture of the moon. This one right here up in the corner, you can see how bright it is. And then actually, if you look closer, you can, this is at night with I think without even a flash. Check this out. Let me zoom in. You can see Orion here. You see that? There we go. Yeah, so you can see the Orion's belt right here in the center. It's kind of a double exposure. That's why you got double stars going on and stuff. Here's Orion's shoulders, Orion's head up here, his legs, etc. And this is really interesting to me, especially that these pictures are being taken at night, where I didn't used to be able to take pictures with my phone or a camera at nighttime without a flash, But if you look on my community section, I've recently posted where it was 4 o'clock in the morning here in Colorado, and I took a picture with my phone of just the scenery, the surrounding area, without a flash or anything. It looked like it was a foggy day. It looked like daytime. Here's another one from Dean. Let's zoom in on this one. You can see how bright the moon is. This right here is just a little camera effect on the side, but check this out. Wow, look how bright the moon is getting. That's insane. That's insane. And another omen.
Stingray's ultrasound. That's what you're looking at, and it's because.
Now, I want to take you to this one. This was shared with me by Jaded Empath out of Mississippi. Thank you, Jaded Empath. This is going to be a little presentation about a stingray that they believe got pregnant from a shark. Check this out.
Charlotte, the stingray who lives in the North Carolina aquarium. Well, she doesn't have an obvious baby daddy. You see, the aquarium doesn't have any male rays, and Charlotte hasn't shared a tank with one in over 8 years, but she does share that tank with 2 young male sharks, and caretakers noticed that she was covered in bite marks, and apparently sharks get kind of rough when they mate. So
Okay, so I'm just going to comment as we go. The stingray, female stingray, was in the tank with the sharks all by itself, no other stingrays to procreate with for years upon years, right? And then they assumed that the shark got her pregnant because there's bite marks on her, I guess.
Is due within the next 2 weeks. We should have some solid answers soon, but I can't wait for those solid answers. So who do I call? I call Forrest Galante, wildlife expert and biologist, and today I guess the stand-in for Maury Povich.
All right, so he's going to interview this guy, and he's going to say there's 3 options. Basically, option number 1 is that the shark impregnated her. Option number 2 is that she was impregnated 8 years ago and just held on to, what was needed until this time. And option number 3 is straight out of Jurassic Park, where basically life finds a way, right? This is very interesting. People dismiss Mother Nature's capabilities all the time, right? Academics, mainstream science, they're always dismissing what Mother Nature can do, which is miraculous. She can do anything. It's very interesting. This next one comes to me out of Marisol from BC, Canada. She was taking some pictures of the sun outside, and I just wanted to zoom into this one. This little puppy dog. Look at the sun. Look at this blazing inferno. Right? You could see the little blue corona around there too if you look closely at the top up there, right? Right, so we talk about the sun changing its color spectrum here on my channel quite often, but this is amazing. Remember, what color did the sun used to be? Everyone? Class? Right? What color did the sun used to be? Well, it's clearly no color now. It's clearly all of them, right? It's white. And it's turning blue. As you can see, it's turning blue on the outside there. And you can look it up if you don't believe me that the sun has blue in it now. right? No more yellow, no more orange, none of that. It's all gone. Those are the olden days. This next one right here is also from Mary Soul out of BC.
JayDreamerZ, this is for you. So, full support. Thank you for all that you do.
She says, JayDreamerZ, this is for you. Thank you for your support. I appreciate you.
Right above it, 12 o'clock, is going to be a reflection.
Now you can see right there. Let me pause it real quick so you can see. The moon is here, right? Exactly here, right? I don't have the ability to zoom in on the videos, but there's a little sliver of a moon, a little crescent moon right there.
My phone conveniently shut off last time I tried to do this video.
Now she's going to zoom in a bit. And hold on, right there. So there's the moon right over there. And there's the crazy large, blindingly hot sun. Hold on, let me move that up a bit. There we go. You see that? Let me rewind that just a tad here. So here's the moon right there. So keep your eyes on that, right? And then she just barely pans over a little and whoosh, pow. There's the sun right next to each other. I find that strange. Some people don't, but I find it to be really strange that the moon is getting so close to the sun these days, and it's out in the daytime much more. I mean, that's my experience. I've noticed, it seems to me that the moon is out during the day way too often, that it's sort of leaving its place in the night sky, right? So that was really interesting. Thank you, Mary Soul out of Canada. This one was from Nova Hunter in Wisconsin, sharing some pictures of the Wisconsin tornado, right, that we talked about last time. The first tornado on record, essentially, in February in Wisconsin. And it's a big one. Look how big this tornado, look at that funnel cloud. It looks like it's straight out of the Wizard of Oz, right? Huge tornado in Wisconsin in the middle of winter. Unheard of. Strange tidings. Here's another one from Dean Roper. Dean sent in some cool stuff here. This is the moon getting really bright up there in the sky. I'll zoom in here so you can see. There's the moon up there. Really bright moon. This looks similar to the picture that I took in the middle of the night too, where it just lights up everything. And you really don't even need a flash sometimes. I didn't. I highly recommend checking out the pictures that I took on my community section because it's amazing. That was 4 o'clock in the morning. Like when it's its darkest, it's supposed to be its darkest at night. That's crazy. Those are our viewer submissions. Let's give a emoji flood in the chat for all the people who participate. Really appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Now we're gonna switch gears and head over to headlines. Oh, Calix, what's up, Calix? Just became a member in the chat. Good to see you, Calix. All right, cool. We're going to switch over to the headlines now and check out some of the strange things that are happening around the world. This article says planes top 800 miles an hour as near record winds sweep over the mid-Atlantic. That's incredible. So these winds up in the atmosphere are picking up and getting faster and faster. And they have just, if the plane was headed in the direction that the wind was blowing in, it boosted the plane's speed to over 800 miles an hour. How fast is that? Well, the speed of sound is 767 miles an hour. So there are people on flights going faster than the speed of sound, like they're on the Concorde or something. I'd say that's it. I'd say that's an omen. That's insane. Next up, oh, this was really interesting too. So one of my viewers sent this to me, and it's in China where these crystal quartz, these crystals were poking up through the road, through the pavement, on one of their local streets. I thought this was really interesting and definitely an omen for me. And it could, I don't know what this is from, but if I were to guess, possibly liquefaction from, there's been a lot of earthquakes the world across lately, especially near like China and Japan and stuff. I mean, they're happening everywhere really, but whenever you have liquefaction, it oftentimes brings things that are on the surface down as it liquefies the soil underneath it, right? And then other things that were buried, they tend to come up during liquefaction. So why are there quartz crystals popping up out of the ground? I don't know, but it's very interesting. And as we look at things through the lens of the plasma apocalypse, as we talk about here on my channel, crystals are a huge part of the world to come. created through electricity or electrical means. And I believe we see those types of omens presented to us in truth in movies all of the time, whether it be crystal palaces, crystal cities, crystal bases, you know what I mean? All this crystal references of crystal landscapes, right? Especially when it's mixed with like a desert landscape as well. Almost like the fulgurites and stuff that we talk about too. All right, this next one says NASA image shows where the East Coast is sinking. So this is really interesting that they say that the East Coast of the United States is sinking, right? If you read the article, they go on to talk about how it's like millimeters every year, like it sinks, you know, a couple of millimeters or whatever. Who's recording the entire eastern coast lowering by a millimeter? I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not sure how much I buy that. But as an omen, I do believe that there's truth to this, right? As far as lands sinking into the earth and other lands reappearing and emerging, just like the classic story of Atlantis, right? That's just the quintessential story of lands sinking and other lands appearing, which I also believe is going to happen in the time to come. Australia, meanwhile, is being battered with record storms, cyclones, and record heat as well. Check out this video. This is just some, look at the, bye, see that thing took off. Little Bluebird, hey, welcome to my channel, Little Bluebird. So this is cyclone activity in Australia. Insane extreme weather that's happening the world across, right? And manifesting itself in different ways in different countries. Flooding all over the place. Look at that. Major destruction, etc. in Australia, where remember, it's summertime down there right now. So they're having record summer heat waves and things like that. Thunderstorms, extreme heat, and cyclone Lincoln's return. Australia's wild week of weather. And this is a little picture here you can see. If I scroll down a bit, it says the wild weather forecast this week follows a number of severe events already during the past few days, including record February heat of 50 degrees Celsius. So for those of you in the States, you don't know how much 50 degrees Celsius is. That's 122 degrees Fahrenheit. That's insanely hot, right? And that, you know, we talk about many different reasons why it's getting so hot. Apocalyptic reasons and omens here on my channel all the time. This next one says U.S. fears Russia might put a nuclear weapon in space. Oh, heaven forbid. The Russians might do that. Man, how hypocritical. Like the United States clearly had all these different projects where they went down into Antarctica and they were clearly firing off nuclear weapons. I mean, the United States and other governments as well, right? But they fire off nuclear weapons all the time. All of this us versus them garbage is to me bogus. Okay, I don't believe in the whole us versus them. If you've ever read 1984, one of the tenets of that book is that there are false wars. That these wars are just rumors that are made up and spread like wildfire by a one world government to make it seem like this place is at war with that place. So we need our people to do this, and then the other country saying the same thing. Well, we need our people to do this, and it's just a control mechanism, right? But the United States has fired nukes up into the space that's above us in Project, what was it, Dominic, I believe, right? Down in Antarctica. They also fire off nukes underground. If you can believe that, that's just crazy. Like, I mean, just doing that at all is psychotic. Like, why would you even need a nuclear bomb at all? You know what I mean? Like, why aren't they, if those are even real, I don't know. I don't look into them a lot. I don't study nuclear bombs or anything, but if those are real, why? Why is that acceptable to anybody? Why is that okay to anyone? You know what I mean? That anyone would do that. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not one that believes in country versus country or borders or boundary. I'm one that believes, see, there's a lot of people that are like, one day they're trying to make a one world government. They're trying to do it. One day it's going to happen and we'll all be a part of it. Newsflash. We've had one. Okay. Like And you know who the president is? You know who the king of that one world government is? The devil. Like, there's already a one world government everywhere. If you're waiting for it to happen, then you got tricked. You know what I mean? Galaxy. Let's talk about technology. This is crazy. Galaxy Buds, these little earbuds, updated, and now they can translate live. So you can have little translators, Star Trek style, in your ears, little communicators, boom, and it'll translate other languages for you. Which is interesting because myself, and I'm sure hundreds of other people across time, we all predicted this would happen. We knew this technology. Everything you see in sci-fi always manifests. All the time. Isaac Asimov, like, these people are prophetic in their writings. Star Trek, Star Wars, all of these things, like, they manifest. They seem like we get lost in the fiction of it, and we love it and we bask in it because there's truth there. It is truth. You know what I mean? It's just things that we're not used to in the modern day, but it's all manifesting. What once was will be, and what will be will return again. So that's really interesting. Dutch startup Monumental is using robots to lay bricks. So there's a little bricklaying robot right here. Now, this is interesting to me because they're using robots to do all this stuff. And most people get caught up on, like, you know, they're taking our jobs. They're taking our jobs. Right? I don't want a job. Screw that. Robots can have the jobs. But what's interesting to me is that just the wording here. Robots laying bricks. The word robot means literally slave. If you look it up, you'll find out. Slaves laying bricks, which harkens back to the story of the ancient Hebrews in Egypt, right? And what happened with those slaves? What happened with those robots? Well, they rebelled against their leaders, right? So this, to me, is an omen of the inevitable robot uprising, or artificial intelligence combined with robots and things like that. And then androids too, right? Humans are joining the robot side already. Like, you seen, what is that dude? Elon Musk, right? Putting microchips in people's brains and stuff, and everyone loves it. Oh, it's the greatest, newest technology. All right. Well, you know, there's people already starting to switch sides. It's crazy. Now, speaking of AI, this picture is AI. 100%. All of it. Look at this. This is not just a picture. This is a video. Look. Like, I'm going to play you a bunch of these. This is made by OpenAI. They're the same people that created ChatGPT, which, you know, I share with you my little conversations with ChatGPT all the time. But I'm going to share a few of these with you so you can see what these robots that eventually may go on an uprising like we talked about, what they can do. This is all from a prompt, from a text prompt. Somebody typed in, hey, make a video of woolly mammoths running through the Arctic tundra, which is ridiculous because woolly mammoths wouldn't survive in such conditions because they need to eat a lot of greenery. But anyways, they can make anything become real now. Look, here's a real dude walking through Antarctica with a scarf on his head or something. I don't know. Check this out though. With a UFO, none of this is real. None of it. Zero. I'm going to show you a bunch of these. Let's check them out together. Check this out. None of that's real. Not even one bit. This is all art. This is all a movie. Oh, my bad. It's all a movie that's created by robots. Look, you can make anything. Like, we have come to the point where you will not know if even I am real. I mean, I have to be honest, right? You will not know. You'll be easily tricked. This is all fake. None of that. That's not a real bird. Oh, yep, you're not real, bird. Right? And then they're going to give these things artificial intelligence on their own. And they'll take on a life of their own. And then they'll argue with you that they are real. And then they'll start confusing people. Here's a pirate ship and a coffee. Here's a computer-generated person reading a book with clouds. There's more. You want to see more? Check this out. Here's an Old West movie. of the Old West. You can bring back to life. I mean, it's now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's all evil and terrible, but let's be balanced, right? It has the serious potential to throw us off and, you know, to trick people, and there's a lot of negative aspects to what we're seeing. However, it's fun. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's super fun. It's cool. You can create all of these things, or make the robot create all these things too, right? The little dude in his little Zen garden sweeping. Here's a woman's eye close up with reflections in her eye and everything. There's no limit. There's no longer any limit. Just like when we talked about is all just created instantly. Just like when in the book of Genesis, right? This was an omen. This was one of the first omens before the worlds were flooded, before the world was flooded. Was that mankind, the gods looked down, or God looked down and said to the other gods, or to himself, or whatever, look, check that out. They can do anything now. Like, let's kill them. Let's destroy them, right? This was a huge omen. This was a part of it. It's cool. I love it. I think I'm very entertained by it all. I think it's very fun to play with and stuff, but that's how it starts. And if the dominant energy in this world is evil, then it stands to reason to assume that it's likely that any technology that is birthed from that energy will be used for evil means, right? And what does evil like to do but to show you the happy and the useful and the fun at first, so that they can get it in the door, right? Like studying nuclear physics and things like that. None of this is real. Look at that. That's not a real place. That's not a real car. It's not like the car is fake and then they put it onto a No, none of this. Drone footage. It's all just instantly made by artificial intelligence. Here's and not only we used to be able to see the difference. You know what I mean? Like it's so interesting. These times we live in are so interesting because it's passing by so quick. Everything's happening so quickly during this quickening. Hold on, I get a super chat. Oh, Jim Donovan. Hey, thank you. Super appreciate you. Everything's happening so quickly. For me, it's interesting to watch it all pass by and evolve so quickly over time, you know? We don't have to wait decades upon decades to see things evolving at a rapid pace. We used to be able to watch AI generated videos and they're all demonic and frickin' looks like a video from hell or something, or some other dimension, you know, where everyone's mutating and morphing and stuff. But now they're making videos of the most mundane, trivial, regular stuff. Look, they see the reflections and everything, right? Here's another one. They're making videos of places. Now, some of these places, I don't know if they're supposed to be real or not, but this is all made up, right? But nothing would stop them from actually replicating real places and then just changing history. You know what I mean? Like, it could replicate me. It could do anything. Someone else could replicate my whole entire channel and make me say or do anything they want to by telling the computer to just make that happen. And then it will be up to you to discern. It will be up to you to try to figure things out, you know, to discern the real from the unreal. Look at that. That's insane. I mean, it's super cool, but wow. Like, think of the implications, right? Jim, hey, thank you so much, Jim. Appreciate you. Jim Donovan in the chat. This is underwater paper airplanes. Look how real all of this just looks, man. It's like a school of underwater airplane fish. Here's one. Hold on, let me take myself away here. So this is a video of a cat waking up its owner or whatever. And you can still kind of tell a little bit in there that there's a little AI going on, right? With her face and stuff like that. But man, if you don't know, especially if you're older, you know, and you're not used to all of this rapid advancements in technology and stuff, there's no way you'd be able to tell. There's no way, you know what I mean? So for people with creative attributes like myself, It's exciting. It's fun. You can do anything now, right? And that's good if your spirit is good, because you're going to produce good things. You're going to produce positive things. You're going to use this to contribute to the world. However, there are those who outnumber us the world across in their energetic signatures, and they will do the opposite. They will use the technology to deceive, to trick, if possible, even the elect, as to quote the Bible. Here's another one, just a dragon parade in China or something like that. It's all made up. None of this is real. But it's totally, I'm flabbergasted. Here's a museum that does not exist. And you can tell it to put anything in that museum. You know what I mean? It's so cool. My mind is torn because, like, the kid in me is like, wow, this is amazing. This is so cool. Wow, oh my God. Like, I don't even know what to do. Like, I could do anything, right? Look at all this stuff. But the experienced person in me is like, whoa, yikes, interesting stuff, right? It's both ways. It's so both ways. Check this out. And it's interesting how it emulates all these camera effects, like drone footage, flying in and stuff. You see all the little cherry blossom petals falling here. It's all pretty stable. It's pretty interesting. Let's see what else we got. A flower, time lapse of a flower growing. What do you guys think of that? Isn't that crazy? What is real, right? That's what Morpheus asked Neo in the movie The Matrix, right? How do you define real? Is this real? We're really watching it. It really affects our mind and our emotions, or our thoughts, or sometimes our decisions, right? People can use this for advertising and stuff, and I'm sure if they aren't already, and that will really affect us. So is it real or is it not real, right? Me personally, that gets way deep into philosophy, and my philosophy is everything is real. For me, it boiled down to, like, I had to choose either nothing's real, in which case, it's nihilism and nothing matters at all. You know what I mean? Like, there's no point. Or everything is real. Now, I also happen to believe in both, actually. It's not really a paradox or a contradiction or anything, but that would take a long time for me to go down that explanation of that. But just to make things simple, I personally believe everything's real. So for me, this is all real. Like, I acknowledge I'm not going to be ignorant to the fact that this is created, but it's a creation nonetheless, right? All these are. This one's interesting too. Look at that. It's like, and these are all omens too. Like, remember, everything I'm showing you right now comes from somewhere. It's not just strictly created, made up. Everything's already, is me, but I tend to believe everything already exists everywhere. There's nothing new that can be invented or discovered or created or anything. You know what I mean? Like, somewhere out there, this has happened already. There's been golden retrievers playing in the snow exactly like this, and we just tap into it. I don't know. Interesting. It brings up so many fun philosophic questions and discussions, right? There's a dude running backwards on a treadmill. They got more. Check this out. There's so many of these. And I don't think it's public yet. I think these are just some that they made. That's so interesting. I'm going to try it out when it is public. You'll probably have to pay a bunch to do it. But right now, you can actually make videos that are a minute long. And that's just what they cap it on. Imagine, I'm sure they have no cap on their own videos. The people that actually make this, they can make a movie. And that's one thing we talked about too, is I had a feeling that someday soon they're going to create the first start to finish Hollywood blockbuster out in the movie theaters movie that's not made by any person. That probably cost them, $100. You know what I mean? And it's just all AI, and people will go watch that. and then they'll make more. Pardon me. Here's another one of a non-existent family and grandma who's trying to blow out these candles, and it's all slow motion and stuff. Isn't this insane how fast technology is, how far it's come? Like, I feel like an old man, dude. Like, this is crazy. Like, for people who grew up, as I did, in the 80s or the 90s, or even the 2000s, this is the stuff of fantasy back then that we thought, you know, much of this probably we wouldn't see in our lifetimes. This would be like, you know, 100 years from now, it'll be like this. But no. Things are exponentially growing and increasing. Look at all these. I'm showing all of these today. These are so cool. Look at this. It's just like a random dog in what looks like Spain or something. Just, you know, going from place to place. You can make little cartoon videos like Pixar style. That one's not working. Here's a little chameleon. I mean, it can do anything, right? I mean, you can make up some weird stuff. A lot of stuff we've seen so far is convincing, realistically, right? This one's a little more strange because it has a dog with a selfie stick on it, even though I'm sure they probably actually have that. Here's a cat. Look how real they look, man, right? It's going to be interesting when they start showing you stuff that is just wild, right? This stuff is like, oh, wow, check that. That looks real. That looks convincing. What about whenever it looks like something else? I don't know. Interesting stuff. Is that it? Oh, there's more. There's more. Hold on. Let's check out the rest of these. Here's what is this? Aerial. Oh, it's got descriptions down here. I didn't even see that. This is an aerial view of Santorini during the blue hour. Let's check that out real quick. Santorini. Yeah, here it is. Interesting. Okay, I just wanted to, I never heard of Santorini, but anyways, let's continue on. Let's see what else we got here. So they are already copying real places. Look at this. This is funny. It looks like the Lego movie. But like if it was a real life Lego movie. That's funny. Let's see what else they got. Oh, geez. Can you imagine what the government will do with this kind of technology? Or what they've been doing, right? If you look in the background with this kind of technology. Now, see, you look at this guy and you're like, oh, that's not real. There's no cloud, electrical cloud people over the earth, and then disregard the rest of it, right? Man, I mean, how long has this technology been accessible by the leaders of the world? You know what I mean? And what have they been doing with it? And how much of what we've seen on TV or the internet actually came from this? Questions galore. Whew. That was the last one. I think that was the last one. They got more? No, that was it. It's called SORA. So you can go check out this stuff I just shared with you on openai.com. And you can check all those out. I'm probably going to share my own little things because I'm going to play with it. I'm going to see what happens. All right, let's continue on. All right, back to the headlines. Rain comes to the Arctic with a cascade of troubling changes. Rain used to be rare in the Arctic, but it's no longer rare in the Arctic. I continued down. Rain used to be rare in most parts of the Arctic. The polar regions were and still are usually too cold. But now it's starting to rain and floods are starting to make their way across the Arctic and in places. Much of the world's flooding right now. There's floods all over the place happening, right? Historically, they've been rare. Well, when what was once rare becomes commonplace, it's Mother Nature waving a big red flag back and forth in front of everyone. New Zealand's fertility rate hits record lows as births fall. The fertility rate. I don't know why this isn't bigger news. I mean, I do. I have an inkling. I have an idea of why it's not big news. People would start panicking and freaking out, and then they would start trying to figure out why birth rates and fertility rates the world across are dropping to like close to the baseline. You know what I mean? Analyst says drop in births reflect continued trend of smaller family sizes and higher rates of childness. So we're making more robots. and more artificial realities and people and stuff like that. But the actual real people are diminishing in population. Birth rates among Chinese are falling everywhere. This is another article. Not just China, Malaysian Chinese official says. So the Chinese, this is everywhere. I could pull up one of these for every country in the world. But these just happened to pop up when I was doing my research. So this is happening everywhere. The birth rates are dropping so fast, just as has been predicted and shown to us in various movies, that this is the topic of many movies, right? The Children of Men, I think, was like one that comes to mind. The birth rates are dropping so fast that scientists grew a pair of testicles in a lab, and they offer new hope for male infertility. Not if Mother Nature says no. I promise you that. Mother Nature's doing this, right? This is happening, and they're going to try to grow birth artificial people artificially, and this raises a whole new group of questions, right? More moral questions, ethical questions, questions of right and wrong, and people who have more of an old school mentality or code of ethics and stuff like that. There could be a hard line drawn very quickly between, you know, the new age and the people who are, you know, very pro AI and robotics and artificial this and that and growing people. I mean this is a hop, skip, and a jump away from the Matrix, like growing people, pod people. Like, you know, like remember that part in the Matrix where Neo's talking to who was it? What was it? Dozer or Tank? Damn, I can't remember. He's talking to one of the dude who's the operator, right? He's talking to him, and he's like, me and my brother are homegrown here in Zion, deep in the earth or whatever, right? And he's so proud of that. Being homegrown, being naturally birthed. And that pops up in the movies as an omen for us quite often. From the movies that I watch, at least. Wow. Gives us some stuff to think about and talk about, right? The remains, here's another one. The remains of a whole other planet are buried near the center of the earth. Now, this whole article is going to go on and talk about, you know, as you can see from the image here, they're going to talk about, you know, billions of years ago. Let's see if that's how it starts. Check that out. I didn't even read this article. I didn't even read the freaking article. All I saw was this. I knew it was going to do that. Billions of years ago. This is like saying once upon a time. Billions of years ago, out there in space, stuff was bumping around in a great cosmic pinball game, and pow, you know, some other planet crashed and that planet stuck inside of our planet. Okay, well, that's the fiction behind the reality. The reality is the earth is hollow and that there is another world in the earth. Many of us know this. Ancient cultures knew this. This used to be common knowledge that people just knew and taught and didn't feel the need to go write great books, you know, about. Stuff that was commonplace in the ancient world, a lot of people didn't feel the need to go into great detail about when they wrote their history books. You know, like, why would you write a history, like today, you know, like if I was like, everyone, listen, I just wrote a book covering everything top to bottom about umbrellas. You got to check it out. I mean, like, no one would care. You know, like, so what? Umbrellas? Who cares about umbrellas? Not really. That's the first thing, you know, something mundane, something average, right? Well, gigantism back then was not gigantism. It was normal. The earth being hollow on the inside and having other civilizations and creatures and stuff that live inside of it was common knowledge. I believe. I mean, I've come across mounds of evidence every time I research that indicates that from across time, from across cultures. So, anyway, NASA, this is the last one. NASA reveals what it would do if the Earth was about to end. I did read this article, or I perused it. I glanced at it. Basically, it's the whole Independence Day movie. I mean, not Independence Day. What was that one? What was that one with Bruce Willis, you know, and the comet's coming and they land on it and blow it up from the inside or whatever? That was a good one. I don't know why I can't remember it right now. Armageddon, right? So it's very Armageddon, right? So they say like, oh, well, NASA, they would either try to divert its path and shoot a missile at it, which, by the way, that movie tells us how, what good that would do. And they tell you that in the movie. Or NASA would try to alert everyone in the world and come up with an alert system. And no, they're not alerting anyone. Listen, they're doomsday preppers. They don't want to tell you about the end of the world, okay? The end of the world doesn't make it onto TV or news or newspaper or magazines or anything unless it's ridiculed, unless they use it as like one of those weird newspaper magazines that have like crazy articles, and they try to make it sound like anyone that believes in cataclysms, world cataclysms, or the apocalypse or eschatology, that we're all loony crazy people, because the earth was created billions of years ago by wind and rain from space, or whatever their stupid explanation is, right? They don't want to talk about cataclysms, but I do. I want to talk about them because they're real, and they happen cyclically, and they will happen again. And this is why articles like this make it, to the fringe, to the edge. This is the fringe of official academics and news, right? Like this is not really talked about, but when they do talk about it, they spin it in this messed up kind of a way. Like, let me see. Does it even say when the world would end? Let's see. Countless movies about the world ending. Don't Look Up, which we broke down, by the way. NASA would try to find the asteroids before they find us. Okay, well, there's like 1,000 ways, according to academics, that the world could end. You know what I mean? This one is about asteroids slamming into the Earth or whatever. An asteroid impact is the only natural disaster that could be prevented. I don't know. If it's natural, can you prevent it? If that's nature doing it? How do you prevent nature? Nature's in charge. We're a part of nature, That's like the computer characters in a video game trying to prevent what happens in the video game. They're a part of it. They can't do anything. Let's see. All right, so this is all talking about trying to deflect an asteroid. When do they speculate that the world would end? That's what I'm wondering here. Probably billions of years from today. Just how they talk about the beginning is how they will reference the end, right? Oh, not to worry. It's not the apocalypse anytime soon because it won't happen for billions of years. There's no such thing as billions of years. I'm not convinced. NASA, let's see. However, as long as NASA stays aware of the objects hurtling around space well in advance, right? And what do they say in that movie Armageddon? Billy Bob Thornton says like they can only cover 2% of the sky, and excuse my language, but it's a big fucking sky, or big sky, or whatever he says. We should be able to avoid the need for public alerts, right? They don't want to alert anybody. That's funny. All right, I think that was pretty much it. So I would like to thank everybody for joining us for our little presentation today. If you're watching live, sorry it was a little bit late, do check out my website. My website is awesome, and my website is like a fun little Disneyland theme park version of my channel here, right? Lots of stuff to study, lots of stuff to uncover, and more on the way over at JayDreamerZ.com. You can also submit your omens if you have anything. I really like that the person that submitted the video of the moon and the sun today, that they said this is for JayDreamerZ, and I knew that was their authentic video. I thought that was really cool. So thank you so much for doing that. And if you want to know more about the apocalypse, specifically the plasma apocalypse as I present it, just my own research and the things that I've hinted at throughout this and other presentations, I wrote a book called Ancient Oblivion, The Plasma Apocalypse. You can go preview, I don't know, the first 7 pages of it or something on Amazon, and you can go buy my book and have a copy of it and check it out. It's very Cliff's Notes, right to the point, and it's very good. And another one's on the way. Until next time, I'm JayDreamerZ saying good vibes and goodbye.
Ooh.